The moment you're ready to quit usually is the moment right before a miracle happens. Don't give up. You need to stop trying to find the shiny new opportunity and instead find the thing that you need to get good at. You'll be surprised by the depths that you need to go to become proficient at something. And that something is something that'll turn you into a more leveraged person that is able and capable of making you a powerful person. And you want power because that means you're making lots of money and that you're able to live your dream life without working as hard or without having to sacrifice so much. But you don't get to choose the season of sacrifice. Right now, you're probably in that season of sacrifice of getting and acquiring the skill set. So then further, you can go and finally live that life that you want. And I'll read you this quote by Albert Einstein. It's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer. Most of us, we switch our problems too soon when it starts getting hard. When it starts getting hard, we start to question our beliefs. We start to wonder if this is really the direction that we're supposed to go. We start looking to people that we shouldn't look to for advice that simply just have a stronger conviction in their dream. And it may be a dream that is entirely different than ours. And it's not ultimately what we want. And it's a lot of times these dreams are smaller than ours. It's one thing if a dream is bigger than yours and you're listening to that. But when you have someone that has a smaller dream, but they have more conviction in that smaller dream, you start to be open to listening to those people. When you're weak and when you're down, when you're vulnerable, when you put in a lot of time and the things just aren't panning out. What you lack is the ability to understand the challenge that's in front of you. A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. That's by Franklin D. Roosevelt. Here's some of the common reasons for most of us for giving up early. First of all is the fear of failure. A lot of us are deathly terrified by fear, and especially because it's implanted into us at a young age through the schooling system and as we grow up. We get told that fear is a bad thing. So that's a pretty common trait. Most of us, we're just obliterated by fear as soon as we fail. It's awful. But what I will say is the man who fails the most is the man who grows the most and knows the most. He probably makes the most as well. You're not failing enough. Yeah, maybe you failed like once in the past month. You dropped your food and it spilled all over the floor. You failed. But I'm talking about embarrassing failure all like day after day after day of just straight pure failure. I'm talking about the failure of like failing multiple times in a single day. Embarrassing amounts of failure. Failing so much that you break the meaning of what failure means. And on the other side of that, you start to get comfortable with failure. Me, myself, I failed so much in my life. I'm so used to failing that I just don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care about failing. As soon as I know the direction I need to go, I jump head first. I don't think about it. I go do it. I needed to make a video because some of the videos haven't been getting the amount of views that I want them to get. I had a few options. I could be like, oh, yeah, this sucks. Maybe I shouldn't do this whole YouTube channel thing. Maybe it's all a waste of time. But I was talking to one of my students the other day, and they were making a shit ton of money. And I asked them, I was like, how did you come across my name? Like, how'd you find me? They said it was watching this YouTube channel you guys are watching right now. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, it was kind of around the time I wanted to give up on this channel. And it's just like, Devin, just your profound thoughts about the ways of doing things changed my mind and changed my life, and it changed the direction I was going on entirely. Thank you for making those videos. And I was like, wow. You're telling me this channel only 200,000 people saw, like, really changed your life? I was like, that was very impressive. I was like, this is, these videos, 200,000 people have seen these videos, but it's like, they average like a few hundred views to maybe a couple of thousand views a video. And it can feel very discouraging sometimes. But seeing the effect that it had just on that one person made it all the worthwhile worth it. And who's to say that's not happening to you right now through those failures that you're going through? You may feel like you're failing, but you're probably inspiring people. Your ability of showing up is probably impacting the lives around you. It's just invisible right now. You just haven't seen it yet. It took a few months before I even heard this, and I get a good amount of views, you know. But you're not failing, you're just learning. The next part that like sets people back is their impatience. People are insanely impatient these days. You got TikTok, you got social media, you got direct access to anything. You can literally just go on your phone and order food and it'll get delivered. And people hate standing in lines. I hate standing in lines. I always skip lines. I will pay to skip the lines. If I'm going to a club, I will pay any amount of money to get into that club rather than stay in the fucking line. Same with like travel. It's like I always pay for the benefits because I don't have the, well, that is different. You know, you spend a lot of time doing a bunch of bullshit. So I'll skip all the bullshit. But it's just we live in a very impatient day and age. People want fast results. If you're one of those impatient people, you probably wouldn't make it to this part of the video because I haven't done enough freaking fireworks and explosions and stuff like that inside this video. So you're at least kind of on the right track here. But people have insane amounts of impatience. They want it to where as soon as they put in the action, they get the results. But they don't know how to turn actions into results. The issue I see a lot of people do is they'll do all of this, like, they'll do a large amount of work with no feedback loop, all to find out that this work that they did fucking sucked. You know, I'll see people that are like, oh, I want to make a course. So they go and spend months making this course or whatever, and then they finally go and put all these things together, and then they put it out there, and it turns out nobody wants that shit. They have a terrible feedback loop, and then they don't have the patience to stick with it and, you know, adjust the course or try to figure out what the hell people want. We have like impatience with the wrong things, and we have patience with the wrong things. We have impatience with the right, like we have impatience with the things that matter, but we have patience with the things that don't matter. So we got to change that. And so a lot of people, they lack patience. They want the instant result, or they want whatever they do to get the result without any feedback from the system, feedback from the marketplace, feedback from the growth or the change, like feedback from your muscles getting stronger. If you go to the gym and you're spending that first whole day like understanding how all these workouts work and how the machines work, and you kind of get a workout in, you can't expect to go look in the mirror to think that you're significantly bigger. You have to have the patience of working out for years to see the sizable change. The issue is most people aren't willing to wait the years for the change. But if they just showed up, not even that crazy of a workout every single day, but they just showed up for years, they would be in an entirely different state that they are in now. They lack the patience. The next thing that they have is they lack the visible progress. Like I said, the feedback loop is when it comes to certain things, you have to understand the difference of immediate feedback loops versus long-term feedback loops. An example of an immediate feedback loop is you make a phone call and you get a result. The person answered, the person didn't answer, the person bought, the person didn't buy. Or you make a golf swing, the ball goes 100 yards, the ball goes 300 yards. You get like a pretty immediate feedback loop. Example of a long-term feedback loop is something like making money. At least when you're getting started. That's a long-term feedback loop because majority of the money that you make is based upon decisions that you made months or years ago. I typically believe that a lot of the results that I'm seeing right now are from the things I did 6 months ago. So the months that I made like $300,000 in a month, they were from, like, I kid you not, like 6 months, 8 months prior. There's work that I did that then finally started to see the light of day after 6 months. And then everybody was throwing money at me and they wanted to to have whatever I had. And then the months when I had slower months, I wasn't working as hard the 6 months prior. Like I wasn't not working as hard. It was like I was not doing the inputs that were going to get larger outputs financially. But I was doing the inputs that were going to turn into larger skill growth later. And so it's just understanding what is the result that we were trying to get. If it's skills, then there's that. If it's making money, it's that. And you're going to have to be intentional with what you're doing and what your future looks like. So if you want a better future, it's not going to happen in the next week by the things that you're doing. It's going to happen from the things you do today, that you continuously do today, for the next few years. The person you are today is because of the actions you did 6 months ago. Also, the decisions you made in the last 2 to 3 years as well. So you have to ask yourself, what are the decisions that you need to make, that you're making, and then also what are the actions that you were doing towards the person that you're becoming and this goals that you are working towards. What I will say is making $100,000 is the same as making $1 million. So you want to always shoot for larger and larger goals in the grand scheme of things, because hitting big goals in the long term is way easier than all of these crazy goals people have in the short term. So always shoot for bigger targets. That would be my one suggestion. And then the last but not least common reason for people giving up early is their comparison with others. Everyone is always comparing themselves with others. Like you go on to Instagram, you go on to TikTok, you watch this YouTube video and you're like, this long-haired hippie dude is telling me how to make. They're telling me that he made hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I can't even pull together making $3,000. Or this guy is super jacked in the gym and I can barely lift any weight. Or this person can do whatever it is that you can't do and you compare yourself to them. Maybe cooking. I don't know, make a mistake. You just aren't there yet. You just haven't put in the time. Quit comparing yourself to someone else that's like 10 years ahead of you. Like, I'm like 7 years ahead of you watching this video if you're just not getting started. Like, I started 7 years ago. Don't compare yourself to me. That's the stupidest decision you can ever make. A lot of these people that you see that are far, far ahead of you have just simply put more time into the system than you have. Like, I look at someone like Alex Ramosi, and I can be like, oh, this guy's making like hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And I could be like, oh, I'm not making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. But the thing is, I have to realize is that dude's 8 years older than me. 9 years older than me. He's like been in the game like twice as long as I have. And I know how the game works. It like grows significantly. Like things happen quick. So if I just keep going for the next like 8 years, 10 years, it would be pretty crazy for me to not be making at least like tens of millions of dollars a year, if not hundreds of millions of dollars a year. It just would be crazy for that not to happen. Because I'm only like 7 years into this, and I'm already making millions of dollars a year. It's like, it'd be pretty crazy for me to at least not be making tens of millions of dollars a year, if not hundreds of millions of dollars a year. So stop comparing yourself to other people. Just stop comparing yourself. Instead, compare yourself to you. And then what you get good at then down the road is comparing yourself to other people that are like you in your circumstances, in your situation, and comparing their results to your results. That's a fair comparison. But when you're comparing yourself to like someone that's far ahead of you, or even let's say these people that you see making 10 grand a month online and they're like flexing it, they've probably put at least like 2 years into getting to that point, or they had some sort of catalyst that like showed them how to do that. Typically, these people that you see that are getting results really quickly, they probably just had someone show them how to do it, or they've been doing this for a lot longer than they make it seem. So stop comparing yourself to everybody. You have to understand that there is a learning curve of things. As you go along, it feels like no progress is made. Could be months, could be years, and you feel like you've made no progress. A learning curve is exponential, though. As you slowly start to get better and better and better and better and better, then it's not like you keep linearly growing. You start to exponentially grow until you hit like eventually like an S curve. But you will have some exponential growth ahead of you if you just stick with it. And most people, they just compare like the distance that they've traveled, and they're just like, oh, I have not made it that far. Like they're walking, like I was walking down the beach with my girlfriend, and we were at one of the piers, and we're like, oh, let's go walk over to the other pier at the beach in Newport. And so we started walking. We were like, this pier in front of us is not getting any closer. We kept walking, and we were like, after I think like 20 minutes, we were like, we're still not even anywhere close to this thing. We underestimated the mission that was in front of us. And then we look back though, and we were like, holy shit, we went far. At this point, we felt like we were at least in like the halfway point. We were like, whoa, we didn't realize we were halfway. It felt like we moved like 10% when we were looking forward, but when we look backwards, we realized that we made 50% of the progress. And that's because when things are far, when we move towards them, they don't seem like they're closer. That's why mountaineers aren't allowed to look at the top of the mountain when you're climbing. And instead, it's focusing on the steps in front of you and just focusing on that. Everyone starts as a beginner. Every person that you see me, you see any person online, any person that's mega successful, even like a Jeff Bezos or an Elon Musk or a Steve Jobs. They all started as a beginner at some point. Everybody starts as a beginner. Everyone starts in the same exact position that you do. And so you don't need to try to you need to understand that like everyone started where you started. The brick walls are there for a reason. The brick walls are not there to keep us out. The brick walls are there to give us a chance to show us how badly we want something. I love this quote because, a lot of us, we see these brick walls and we pound and pound and pound against them. And we think some of those people that do that is psychotic. But a lot of people, they see those brick walls and they don't even give it a shot. The crazy ones that do try the brick wall and they just try to force themselves through it are the ones just crazy enough to figure out how to knock it down or get around it or climb over it and then live their dream life. That's what I did. I just would run into a brick wall every single day until it unlocked. That's it. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, did not make the high school team. And in fact, the coach told him that he was not able to play on the high school team. And most people would see that as, I'm not supposed to have a career in basketball. Michael Jordan saw it as, this is an opportunity to get good. Michael Jordan went on to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time. When asked about his repeated failures, Thomas Edison famously responded, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. This mindset highlights this view of failure as a step towards success rather than a defeat. And when you don't give up, you get what you probably wanted all along. You're watching these personal development videos, you're watching all these videos online about how to get better, how to have a better mindset. Here's the opportunity right now in front of you to have personal growth and to grow as a person and to have your personal development and to have this character arc that you've been wanting so badly. You've been wanting these skill sets to become more effective and more talented. Here's your opportunity. Bruce Lee says, I'm not afraid of a man that's practiced 10,000 different kicks. I'm afraid of a man that's practiced 10,000, one kick 10,000 times. You have the ability to develop your skill sets right now in front of you, all laid before you. But you give up when it starts to get hard? Really? This is what you wanted. This is what you asked for. They say when you ask God for strength, He gives you challenges. You ask for strength, and the challenges are right here, right now. They're right in front of you. So why is it that we run away when we have challenges? Like, this is what you asked for. That's the funny part about all this, is we ask for these things. And then when the opportunities are given to us, we run away from it because they're like, oh, that's not what I wanted. But this is what you asked for. You want to be rich, you'll be given setbacks. You'll be given failures. You'll be given the understanding of poverty and what that means, and finding the happiness and the joy in poverty. And I think you just don't you can't enjoy being broke. You can't enjoy, you watching this. You have a tough time, enjoying you as who you are, and you view your financial circumstances as why you are the way that you are, not realizing that the reason why you're broke is because of you and your inability to understanding that there is somebody inside of you, and not letting your circumstances dictate who you are. And the other benefit of not giving up is you increase your resilience. You become resilient. I have ran out of money hundreds of times at this point watching this video. That may sound crazy, but I have had many, many times where I couldn't pay rent. I couldn't even afford food. Even at points when I was making a lot of money, I ran out of money a lot. I had so many setbacks. I was somebody that had a tough time with handling money. I just didn't understand it. But what I've learned is that if I ever run out of money, or if something ever is a problem in life, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Because I know I'll figure it out. Whatever it is, just fucking bring it on. If this is what is necessary to get to where I'm going, cool, sweet, let's go through it, let's do it, let's do the thing. I don't care. And if something goes wrong, if whole entire company leaves on me, run out of money, close to not making payroll, can't make rent, cool. We'll figure it out. Find some sort of way of figuring it out. I always figure it out. And it's that skill set that I've developed through all of these setbacks gave me some legs to stand on. It got me to understanding that it's just I'll always figure it out. So at this point, I might as well do cool shit, because I realize I get to decide what I want to do. Yeah, there's parts that suck, parts that I wanted to give up. But I just keep going because I know that it's all going to be worth it. So here's the practical tips to keep you going. First, set realistic goals. And if you realize that you made a goal that was too big, it's okay. We just got to change the timeline sometimes. And ask ourselves, is there a goal that we can hit to now that's going to lead us to this bigger goal? Sometimes we set the wrong goals. Your dreams are pretty accurate, but sometimes we set the wrong goals. And then what you want to do is celebrate the small victories. Celebrate you setting your YouTube channel up. Celebrate you getting monetized. Celebrate you getting 100 views on a video. Celebrate you making your first sales call. Celebrate you getting your first sale. Yeah, you're not popping champagne in the club because you just close a $1 million deal or something like that, or buying a watch, or buying a supercar, or whatever. But celebrate the small victories, because you're going to look back and realize those were the big victories. Next, you want to develop a growth mindset. Embrace challenges, learn from criticism, find the lessons in the failures. Third thing you want to do is seek support. So surround yourself with other supportive people, preferably people that have been where you want to be. Find communities or groups with similar interests as you, and surround yourself with those people. Last but not least, stay consistent. Create a routine, commit to your regular practice, and track your progress over time. It's one thing I wish I did more, was track your progress. Because then you can have something to compare to. You can understand how far you've gone, how much progress you've actually made. Many of the life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Thomas Edison. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to just try one more time. That's Thomas Edison as well. I remember my dad asking me if this was all worth it. I was telling him about my circumstance with business. He was like, Devin, is this all worth it to you? Because I was going down this path of entrepreneurship. I decided to quit my job. I decided to build a business. I had some success. I made some money. But I was at a point where I had no more money. And I came to my dad and told him this. I was like, this is hard. I thought it was going to be a walk in the park. I thought I was going to get rich and just go do all these cool things and live my dream life. This shit is hard. What do I do? He asked me, Devin, is this all worth it to you? So I really considered myself, like I was out of money. I think I just had some huge setback. Channel got demonetized or something like that. Like deleted. I went from making a bunch of money to making no money. I failed heavily. And he asked me, is this all worth it to you? And I started to think about like the past and like how I had all these challenges that I wanted to overcome and how I was able to overcome those obstacles. And I still was able to figure it out. And I saw the life path that I want, like that I was thinking the other way that I would have gone if I didn't try to get into business, which was to go work for somebody else. And to go work in some job and to go do that consistently. Probably go do that for 30, 40 years. And to get on get a salary. And then I looked at the other path that I was going towards of making hundreds of millions of dollars and living my dream life and living my best life. And doing whatever the fuck I want for my entire life. And probably just dealing with a few years of like suffering and sacrifice. I said, fuck it. Why should I wait 30, 40 years to go live this like life and like to be fucking old as shit and to not enjoy my life versus like I just have to sacrifice and suffer for a few years and then I get to enjoy the rest of my life. Fucking sign me up for that shit. Like I don't want to have to wait all this time to then eventually just like fucking collapse and die and barely be able to fucking enjoy my money. I want to enjoy my life now. So I was like, yeah, this shit's all worth it. Like it's like it's just fucking money. It's all like I'm like in my 20s. It's like who gives a fuck? Who cares? It's all worth it. It's like I get to be myself. I don't have to be someone else's like little fucking. I don't have to be some like little bitch to the system. I get to do my own thing. I get to enjoy my own life. I get to choose what I want to do every day. Like I literally get to choose what time I wake up every day. I get to choose what time I show up to work every day. I get to choose what I work on every single day. I get to choose if I want to work or not. And I'm going to choose that shit every single day. So, stop giving up when the things get tough. My name is Devin Canup. Thank you all for watching this video. I appreciate you all. Stop giving up and go do the shit that you know you need to do. So then you can set yourself up for life. That's what I got. See you guys.